Hey, it's Ryan. I am running Psi Run with a really awesome crew of people. I am psyched. I use he, him pronouns, and I feel like I should introduce more things, but I've already forgotten everything I was going to say. We had safety talk before, so that's out of the way. It's just you didn't get to see it. Ha. And I guess I'm going to go left to right on my screen. So, Brian, could you introduce yourself?
Hi,
Even though I
I'm
just
Brian.
kind of did.
I'm Brian, he, him. I first learned about Psi Run, I think, in 2013. I briefly met Meg, and she kind of pitched it to me, and I was excited then. I'm still excited. Haven't had the chance to play it, so looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Lauren, she, her. I don't know anything about Siren. I just saw Ryan was running it, and I was like, I want to be the game that Ryan's running. So that's, yeah, I'm excited to play this game with all these lovely people.
And I'm Michael. I use he, him, but you already knew that, didn't you? Through the psychic brainwaves that you're reading. I'm very excited to play Psi Run. I've never played it, but I've always been interested in it. And it's sort of get up and go and start playing ethos. So I'm excited.
I'm now thinking that one of the best and most useful psychic powers would just be to suddenly suggest all the time the right pronouns for you. Anyway, so if you look in the keeper, there are a bunch of columns, more than we really need. You can pick a favorite color. I will get rid of any we don't need. And oh, it looks like people already picked some. Rad. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff on here. But because you don't necessarily know a lot about yourself, we all start off with some degree of amnesia. You can fill out as much or as little as you like. You need to put in something about when you look in the mirror, what you would see, because unless your power is invisible, in which case you might want to put in that when you look in the mirror you see nothing. You probably have some physical description. A rough age, I mean, if you look like you're a teenager versus if you look like you're in your 40s, or if you are absolutely certain that you are 32 as of yesterday, you can also put that in. And if you've got an idea for a psi power, awesome. If not, you can leave that blank, and we will see what you do the first time you do it, and it might go horribly wrong. You also need to write 4 questions that you want to find out answers to. One's going to pertain to your powers, one's going to be about your past, and 2 are going to be about your strengths and weaknesses. This could be things like, why do I know what they're going to do before they move? Or, why is there a past due notice in my pocket? Or where does this hotel room key go to? Strengths and weaknesses could be things like, this is a military grade bomb. I don't know why I know that. Or, how did I know how to hotwire this truck? Or, whatever it is you want. You can put in strange things. It could be stuff like, I can't think of. Suddenly, you're sure that you're a kindergarten teacher? I mean, whatever you want. It can be weird. Also, as with the rest, feel free to leave some of these blank and fill them out if you get ideas during the game. I mean, we're supposed to have them at the start, but this is a game of filling out stuff as you get to it. So long as you eventually have 4 questions, no worries. Oh, and same with name. You can leave a question mark if you want. You can put in a name. You can put in a nickname. Whatever works. Pronouns are going to help though, because otherwise I'm not sure how I will talk about your character. Brian, that is a rad psi power, especially the phrasing.
Hopefully it'll come out as cool as the phrasing.
Try not to talk over people's thought processes too much, but we will also come up with kind of a rough sketch of who you are running from or what you are running from and what this crash looks like. So if you are really sure that you want it to be like a motorboat crash or like last time I played this, it was a not quite Amazon delivery van crash or something, you can feel free to call dibs on that. Otherwise, we will talk about it real quick once we've got basic characters down.
How much do you want us to fill in before we get started, Ryan?
It kind of depends. I mean, if you have a bunch of stuff you want to put down, go ahead, over explain yourself. But if at any point you kind of run out of ideas, you're probably done for the moment, and that's fair too.
Okay. I was like, I could go on, but
Yes, wait, if you need to describe at length how incredibly hot you are, I would never stop anyone from doing that. Feel free.
wow, I'm gonna need a few more rows in this spreadsheet.
Yeah, if you hit the point where you're absolutely sure that you are done and there is nothing to add, feel free to just tell me so I don't stare at you forever, because otherwise I'm going to try not to talk over people.
And just to clarify, where our questions are, we make these questions ourselves.
Yes, these are things you want to find out the answers to as we play. And
Okay.
that placeholder text is just to let you know the categories you should have questions
Right.
about. Feel free to cover it up with a question.
Good deal.
And I'm going to use Brian as an example again. The Why can't I outpace the chasers, but distance is my friend is a good one because it says something about like your build, your abilities, that kind of stuff. It could be things like I understand Mandarin. I don't know why or whatever. I mean, this is basically where you can stick in the weird fill in your own skill block. And for the record, I love all caps psychic blades too. I admire your commitment.
And I'm sorry if this if I glossed over this, if you already explained it, but are we playing the day where we wake up? Is this like are we just waking up like, oh my gosh, who am I? Where am I? What's going on? Or is this like we've got to know each other after a few days and we're still running?
I skipped the very most basic intro. Thank you for
Oh.
catching me on that. Because we start with a crash. We will determine what kind of crash that is, but for some reason, you were in a thing, it crashed, and now you can get out and go wherever you want. And where you want is away from the people who would like to catch you and put you back. So we are kind of in media res. You may know stuff about each other, you may not, but there are big gaps in your memory that you want to fill in before they can catch you. And I don't
Okay.
know what, send you back to Evil Amazon last game.
Oh, interesting. That's what we get for trying to unionize, I guess.
Lauren, your question's making me so sad.
Oh, yay. So I like to hear.
For the viewing audience, should anyone watch this, it's whose friendship bracelet is that? Whose friendship bracelet is this? Because I don't have friends. And man, that is a thing to be certain of when you have kind of confusing memories. So, how are people feeling? Do you want some more time? Are you ready to move on to other things?
If you want to talk about the mechanics a little bit from the sheet.
Sure. Um, Over on Roll for Your Party, you can see that there are 5 blocks currently available. Whenever you want to do a thing that has a chance of failing, where that chance of failing is actually interesting. If it's can I open the door, I'm like, sure, whatever. You can continue doing that until it opens. But if there's a chance it could go wrong, you'll get a certain amount of dice, determined by things like you have awesome psychic powers, so you always start off with 1. You're trying to accomplish thing, so you'll get the gold eye. You might uncover a memory. You never know what'll trigger that, so you gotta reveal 1. And the chasers might gain on you, so you'll always get 4. You can add extra by deciding that you're using your psi powers or that you're risking harming yourself. Neither of those are ones that I can make happen. You have to choose that you're doing them. And then you can allot those dice you roll onto these however you like, so that you basically determine what I as a GM get to say and what your fellow players get to say. If you have a 1, then you can decide that, the chasers move 2 circles closer, or that maybe you just don't have memory triggered because this doesn't mean anything to you or whatever. You kind of get to take a moment and allot how you want the fallout of this to be before anyone gets to narrate exactly what happens. Which is kind of weird, but in practice it ends up being kind of cool, I think. Especially because if you choose to fail your goal, you always get to narrate why that goes wrong.
I think I'm satisfied with what I have so far.
In that case, tab over to the Chasers tab, where you will see 3 columns. We don't really need a ton of information, but we'll want something in each of those columns. Their look could be things like men in black, super corporate business suits, all wearing lab coats, full hazmat gear, whatever. Technology cybernetic limbs, rad. Okay, love it. And method is like, are they coming after you with drones? Do they control the media? Do people not know they're around and they're just kind of a shadowy extra force or something? It gives me sort of a rough idea of what you want to be chased by and what resources I have to chase you. Like, if in method you put in like super awesome psi homing device, then so be it. That is a thing in this world now.
This might like sort of brush up against like some of the well, I guess this is like kind of gaslighting, so I'm just like flagging it for stuff. But like I kind of like the idea of like them taking on like the appearance of our loved ones or like people we can trust and stuff. And so it's like that, but I know that like gets into sort of territory around like like sort of being a bit gaslighty and stuff. But it's kind of fun.
So you're thinking like shapeshifty stuff or something?
Yeah, like shapeshifty stuff. Yeah, maybe.
Sweet.
But I see Michael thinking.
Well, I just didn't know if you meant literally shapeshifting or just lying and manipulating. But shapeshifting is a bit cooler.
Yeah, shapeshifting sounds cool.
It could be shapeshifting. It could be the calling you with a familiar voice, saying things that you know they wouldn't say. I mean, however you guys want to spin that so that it's fun and not unfun, I am down for.
We could also not use the idea. I just put it out there.
No, thanks for putting up the warning tape. I like it.
I try.
So are people into a variation of that idea, or would you rather that it be left out? Because either of those, or a third option, are completely valid. Nothing is set so far.
I like it. Just to make sure I was partially daydreaming. Like the distinction there is between shapeshifting and what was the second one? Just basically like familiarity.
Like saying like, oh, it's don't you remember me? I'm
Okay.
your brother Joe, and just some dude.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
As
So
opposed to
basically,
like really like having some sort of cool melty face technology or psychic power
Yeah.
or whatever.
got you. Okay.
Cool melty face technology sounds. That's interesting.
Yeah, that goes with the cybernetic limbs pretty well, I think.
Cool. I am going to put that down verbatim because cool melty face technology is the best kind of technology.
Ooh. Maybe it's kind of like the Terminators, where like they have like the robotic like under bones and skeleton stuff, but then
They're
they
being
just have...
pursued by Tia thousands.
Yeah, I love it.
But don't punch all your loved ones in the face to make sure they're robots, because you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, I like that. That works well for the amnesia too, right? Because like in the case where you have any familiarity with someone, you're like, oh, I need to get with them in order to figure this out, and yet that's not going to work so well.
And again, I mean, it says that you've got some degree of amnesia. That can just be that you aren't totally sure what was happening. It could be that you conked your head real good in this crash, and you probably have a concussion. So you're not thinking super straight. I mean, feel free to spin that however much it's interesting to you. We know that they didn't wipe your memories and put in new ones because that's off the table. So whatever else you find, cool. And we may not ever really need clear answers to that, besides the fact that clearly stuff is going on that you weren't privy to, because why would they tell you their evil plans? Unless one of your memories is, they told me their evil plans, why, I guess.
So, question for the group, and maybe this is one of those ones to leave for an answer for later. How do we distinguish each other from these robots? Have we devised a method for that? Or should I leave that as a question to answer?
Well, I love it. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, there's got to be a tell, right? Like, there's got to be a thing you can like have to distinguish yourself with like people who are coming after you. I don't know what it is though. It's like, yeah, it's on the same page.
I guess if we just crashed, we probably haven't like talked about this. I don't know. Or maybe while we were at some facility, we've been like, that's something we had to develop so they could mess with us less.
Yeah, and you can definitely work that in play. You could have a memory be, why do I know which ones are robots? I mean, however you want to spin it. Or you can just decide now that all robots have weird voices or something, and then that is law.
No, I don't want to make that easy for us.
You sound like a robot. Yeah.
I just don't want to have to like stab you a little every time we have a conversation just to like check your bones or whatever.
It is hard to make friends when you always punch to say hello.
It could be that thing of like, this is like really in the flesh, Ryan, but like what, like that kind of like what's the thing that only like I would know kind of situation, like using memories to like validate like your identity in that case. That could be one way. I'm sure there's other ways we can like help distinguish ourselves from like from robots.
Well, and that's kind of fun because it implies that you're aware of each other to some extent, and we don't know how much yet because this is just the start of like our movie. Who knows what kind of background you have?
Yeah.
So, clarifying question, which you may or may not actually care about the answer to. Are we establishing that our chasers are more cybernetic and not psionic themselves?
I mean, I'm almost to the point where maybe they're not human. Like they're robotic agents controlled by humans, but...
So it really is the T-1000 smashed up with Agent Smith trying to bring you back.
Yeah, either remote controlled or super AI intelligence. What do you think, Brian?
So long as they pass for human, or like, they could walk among society, and someone not in our position would think, oh, that's a normal Joe. That's 100% good with me. Actually, sounds really good.
Cool. So there's some power behind them, probably, that we don't know the details of. But they themselves are definitely not human, although they look like it. And regarding the put the glasses on in the chat, I'm suddenly feeling my lack of Alex prep. I don't have awesome costumes to put on, so I can slowly change my appearance through this game. Alas. Okay, looks like we've got stuff pretty well filled out. So, what kind of crash do y'all think happened? We know that you're being transported from one place to another for who knows what reason, and it goes horribly wrong. Oh my goodness, Y2K. It could very well be that their systems all reverted to the 1900s, and for some reason you just let yourself out of the building because the locks didn't work anymore. Because, I don't know, Y2K ruins everything.
I like this idea that they try to transport us in something that looks nondescript. Like, it's not like this big hyper prison bus because they're all about blending in with society. So maybe it's like a church van or something ridiculous like that we're being transported in. I'm not sure.
I do like the church fan.
Sorry, I'm distracted by how awesome Lauren's character's t-shirt is. The keep calm and fuck shit up.
Does.
What do y'all think about like a rebel underground faction that like tried to spring us, but they were all killed?
Oh,
And there's
yeah,
just
that's
like
so.
that last gasp of like run or whatever, and then the music starts.
I do quite like that. That puts a lot of obligation on us to like not get caught again, right? Like.
Yes, that definitely gives you a reason to start running.
Yeah, could they need this, they need to reference something that we have no idea what they're referencing. I'd actually like Ryan for you to come up with that. Literally anything. Just,
Oh no.
yeah, find the Quarton or something.
Rosebud.
Yeah.
Well, I love it too because like if these rebels like tried to get us out and they died, like a really obvious question for our group is like, can we find what their bases or whatever, so we can almost like I don't know, sort of post gen a lot of that, what they're about and stuff, because we have to like find them first and like figure out like are there more of them? Are they all dead? Like, can we find what they were doing at their secret base?
I'm down for all of that, especially how it is now mashed in one of my favorite franchises, Terminator, but also with psi powers, but also with who knows what else we're going to throw into it. So I am totally on board. Oh, and another question where we may or may not actually care about the answer, but it's worth putting it out on the table. Do you want this to be in like an urban center? Do you want it to be in rural Siberia? Do you want it to be someplace, any town? Is there non-rural Siberia? Rural Australia or something. Who knows? It could be anywhere. Or it could be so nondescript we don't really care where it happens.
I would certainly like it to be urban enough to have a good number of humans milling about, and I don't want to say collateral, but collateral. People who aren't in the know. But I'm also open up to alternatives if someone has a preference.
I generally lean toward urban because it gives me more stuff to work with, but you all get to decide what I have to work with, so I don't get a say. You can pick whatever you want.
I was like, there's such a wide world of possibilities I hadn't even considered.
I'll just say that, if you are stranded in Antarctica, your goals are probably going to be very different than if you're stranded in downtown Tulsa. So
I hide behind a tree. Anything exciting, Lauren? You look like you have gears spinning. So.
Oh yeah, I always have gears spinning. I think I'm the same because I'm like, oh, urban would be neat because there's a lot of people there and stuff, and it provides a lot of like cool texture for like these like Terminator like shape shifting people and stuff. That's super neat. But then I also really like. I mean, such a horror fan, so I like the idea of like not a rural town, but like one of those like really creepy like like kind of like there's enough people there, everyone knows each other there and stuff, but like what if they're all robots? Kind of vibe where it feels a bit remote. I don't know.
And it's worth saying that we'll change locations during here. So that could be just jumping between parking garages in a downtown city center. But it could be you start out rural and go urban or vice versa. So don't feel too locked in by anything.
Do you think, Lauren, you'd be more interested in like an old city that's been trying to be updated, like London, or like a large prefabricated city that nobody's moved into yet, like some of those places in China, where they've built these huge cities, but they're just ghost towns?
And before Lauren actually jumps in, I just wanted to say I'm not committed to this idea at all, but I kind of like the idea of like a 5 years in the future, something like that, in a sort of failed urban center that is then being revitalized by tech. So like it kind of, you can almost imagine the cybernetic humans running around in it, but also it's got that spookiness of the last boom that has failed. So I don't know. I don't know if it fully captured. I'm trying to hit the middle ground for what Lauren's wanting. I don't know if it's right there, but something where like I imagine the sort of alleyways and whole districts that are fairly underpopulated, where people have memories of what it was like. But now here comes all of this new stuff that is freakish and weird. Something.
It almost sounds like Futurama, how they've got like New York and like old New York, like we're old.
Detroit 2029 or something.
I mean either of those sounds super cool.
Any town with the name Neo in front of it, I'm good with.
Yeah,
it could be
NeoDetroit.
It could be like Neo, like Hertfordshire or something. As long as it's Neo something, I'm cool with it.
I love it. Neo Albuquerque.
In that case, do you have strong opinions on NeoDetroit versus Neo Albuquerque? Because those suggest very different environmental hazards to me.
What do you think, Michael?
I'm not super familiar with either city. So if I think Neo Albuquerque, I think like that's like in New Mexico, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm only like passingly familiar with either of them, but it's the whether you're in the middle of a desert
Yeah, arid
or
desert versus like real and like industrial heartland America.
yeah, or they build cars and it snows, which
Yeah,
Albuquerque doesn't snow.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think with Neo Albuquerque, you're going to get like the whole tumbleweed sort of aesthetic and vibe,
Mhm.
and like the dust storms and stuff. But with Neo Detroit, you have like dark alleys and like you have more snow possibilities. So
I
Yeah.
like
Do you want
NeoDetroit. Yeah,
dark alleys and abandoned factories, or do you want to be lost in the middle
yes,
of the desert? And
let's
I
do
lean toward
Neo.
abandoned factories because, again, that gives me more to throw at you. But
Yeah,
right.
let's do
Let's
but
go
I
it.
have to choose
industrial.
what tools are in my box.
Especially if it is snowing. So I feel like I never see snow in like this
Mhm.
this kind of like technological cyberpunky kind of world.
Sweet. Well, and normally I'd say here, why don't we take 5 and I'll make some notes about the chasers? But you guys filled in the chasers very thoroughly, so I feel pretty confident with them. So would you like a short break, or do you want to get right into the crash?
I'm fine either way.
I could pick up a I'm running out of tea. That's the only
Yeah, that
thing
was going
I
to be
could
also my. Do you need more beverages?
do. Yes, yes, please. This is just
Okay.
5 to make a beverage. That'll
Yeah,
be fine.
let's just come back on the hour and we'll get right into ruining your lives. Ha ha ha.
Excellent. Thank you.
Everybody back and ready for stuff? Sweet. So our scene opens with this church van with bright, sunny, like blue and yellow buses and like what's a terrible church name? I should have thought of this a second ago. Being like, Hope Point Church, non-denominational. It just looks super friendly. There's smiley faces on there, like the sunshine that has a smile on it next to the kind of cartoony cross thing, rolling down the streets of NeoDetroit, and it's starting to snow a little. There's still some snow drifts on the street. It doesn't look like it's been plowed very recently because it's kind of a dead area, probably. When, all of a sudden, see kind of scuffle and cuts to the inside of the van where we see our three people hearing bangs and crashing and kind of a crunch. And the back of the van is pulled open and somebody yells, Find Visage, as they're pulled away. And there's fighting, there's like electrical sounds and stuff, but you're still buckled into the back. And all of a sudden it goes quiet outside, except for like the sound of the wind kind of moving through these abandoned buildings alongside you. What do you want to do here? I'm going to point at Brian because I see that he's unmuted. So, ha!
We're restrained, right?
Yeah, you've got a seatbelt on and probably like some light manacles or something. They may have come loose. You can check if you want to see if you can work your way out of them, or you could just run out the back.
Yeah. Wait, you said run out the back. Sorry, so we're not bound in. It's just the right here, right?
Yeah, and literally a seatbelt, but you know how to undo a seatbelt.
Yeah. I'll pull that one off. And then I'm gonna look around at the other two, and I don't think I'm gonna say anything, but I'm gonna see that they're also restrained in some way, and that immediately gives me some camaraderie with them. And I'm gonna say we got to get these off. And I'm gonna start trying to. I'm gonna like test to see if I can just kind of slip my hand through them, if I can break whatever is binding, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna try to like I don't know pull out some piece of metal from something, maybe a part of the seat in front of me, in order to try to jimmy it loose.
I think I'm talking while muted. Go ahead, Michael.
I think that whoever put me in these restraints knew what I could do. So I think that mine are like even more thick iron and stuff like that, so that I can't just cut through them with my psychic blades. At least they don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah. On the others might be a technicality, but on yours they're kind of like hardcore mitten things, trying to keep you from making psychic blades because they know what you're up to. But our KO, what are KO's pronouns?
Oh, he, him. Sorry.
He, him. Okay. So KO, looking around, can spot that, yeah, in the crash, this is just a church van. It's meant to crumple to protect everybody inside, even though it's not so much a 15-passenger van. It's had the back kind of pulled out and turned into a weird transport thing. But there's bits of loose metal you could pull up. You could probably make your way into the front and try to see if there's anything in there. You can scavenge around for bits of metal if that's what you're after. I'm not even going to require a roll for that. You can find something.
Yeah. Simultaneously, I'm going to try to just to remember back, like who all was on this bus that is no longer on this bus, or like who went out and got in the scuffle. Did I see anyone who was official? Was everyone on the bus with the exception of the driver? One of us.
There's the three of you in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a driver up front who looked like a very nice, like mid-60s church lady who was probably not driving these things all that often, but she had like a pink cardigan and one of those sweaters with little birds on it and everything. Looked very sweet. Mm-hmm. Probably not actually sweet.
Yeah.
Who, as the crash happened, you could kind of see flow into something else as she left the door.
Yeah. So you said it's in the seat in front of me that I could scavenge for some stuff.
Yeah, they, for whatever reason, didn't put up one of those metal grates so you can get up front easily enough.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
they thought that would look suspicious.
I'm gonna kind of crawl up over the top of the seat in front of me and try to scavenge for something. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also thinking uh, of that woman. And uh, I'm gonna try to. You give me one thing, I'm gonna try to take two. I'm gonna try to both get something out of that pile, and then also I'm gonna my attention is on that woman and the shape shifting, and I don't know if my power is like manifest before now, but I would want to um, I want to think. Does she have anything that I can use? And if there's anything near term that she would know about this vehicle that would help me, I want access to that. Um, that's on you,
So,
GM.
yeah,
How does
it
that
sounds
work?
like you are proposing to roll for your psi powers and
Yes,
also to find useful information about this whole method of transport and what they know is up.
absolutely.
In which case, go over to the roll for your party window because you're going to get to roll some dice.
Okay.
So, it it sounds like you have awesome psi powers and a goal. And, I mean, your chasers could always be catching up to you, so you've got that. And you might reveal a memory, so you've got that. And you're using your psi powers. The real question is, do you want to risk harm for this?
I think no.
Okay,
I,
then go
I,
ahead.
I think I'm wary right now.
Yeah, go ahead and roll 5 dice. They only need 4 of them as you start.
And these are D6s,
Plonking
is that
out.
correct?
Yeah, d6s.
You said 5 dice.
Yes.
Okay.
If you get harmed, you start having to put your highest dice into kind of a repository where you can't use them. But for right now, you get your choice. You don't have to use both of those ones if you don't want to. You have 1 spare. So, allot them to
Okay, I see. So they need to go into each of
relevant boxes.
these relevant boxes. Okay, cool.
And what you put where determines who gets to say how that happens.
And I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said about the ones? And in this case, I must select them or no?
You only need to put things in the goal, reveal, chase, and psi boxes. So
Okay.
you've got 5 dice and 4 boxes to fill.
Cool.
You could leave out one of those 5s, but I probably would leave out one of the 1s.
All right. And where are the chasers currently on our trail?
Let me pull up the trail. The chasers are currently a mere 1 box behind you. They know where you're headed. They know where to find you. You probably don't want to be there when they get here. So I would suggest using one of your dice to maybe make headway.
Okay. I think I'm going to do the reveal will be the fail. And then achieve goal. Sure, it makes no purpose towards the runners.
While you're figuring that out, so I'm imagining my character is like a Hemsworth, basically. So he's like, I think that like they've chained like his mittens like to the seat or the base of the van, and he's just going and trying to struggle against these chains. But like, I'm really curious what your character's doing, Lauren. Like how that either compares or contrasts to what my guy's doing.
Well, I think like Vi is pretty convinced like there are just some keys outside in a body or like in the front of the seat, right? Like if you pop the pop the glove box, like there's gonna be something we can use to like get ourselves out. So I think like I think she's probably sort of like the synthetic like lone wolf who's just like and then like unbuckles her seatbelt and then like it will elbow like at the door open, like the van doors like behind us to sort of like just get out of here to see what see if there are any keys around or see if there's something around she can use to like get these things off.
Yeah,
What you guys are doing with this quality effort?
I think I see you just like all you have to do is unbuckle your seatbelt and just like no fair.
But then I think like she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like roll back a little bit to like she undoes her like buckle and like slips out and it's about to like sort of like see you later, Lils, but then like sees you're struggling, right, and it's like and like goes back over and like pops your like seatbelt, like maybe offer you like I'm going to offer you a hand upright, but it's like you're like totally manacled, so like realizes you can't shake hands or take my hand to get up.
So I'm going to skip back over to our roll because it looks like we've got answers on that now.
Yeah, this is actually worse than I thought it was. I thought that 2 might not be bad, but it's bad.
No, 2s are generally not good here.
So yeah, I did want to succeed in the goal and not have the chase, end immediately. But looks like I don't have memories revealed, and my power goes wild in a bad way, or potentially bad.
Just for general info, if the chasers catch up to you, that means that we then open up the capture one, and they can try to capture you. If someone gets captured, we start rolling on, do you disappear forever? So it gets more intense, but if they catch up to you, that doesn't mean the end of the game. It just means that then you have to try to evade these cyborg metal things trying to look like people.
Ryan, in that case, I may actually change this because I kind of want to see them. And I know this is a little bit masochistic, but I'm going to actually arrange that differently. I'm going to do my spy power does not go wild, and I'm going to do the chase. They do catch up to us.
Okay, and that says they move 2 locales closer, but they're not going to leapfrog you as much as you might wish to min-max the system such. It just means that they are now at the crash. So I think as we see you trying to get a bead on what this totally normal church lady, definitely not an evil robot thing, was doing up in front, and Vi is crawling around looking for keys and unleashing our, looks like possibly like a 4th Hemsworth brother. I mean, super hot, manacled. We see moving down these snowy streets, completely normal, not at all suspicious, just like the livery van and a station wagon, and they're all driven by very normal people wearing like polo shirts and cushy sweaters, and there's nothing weird at all about them except that they appear to be converging on your location.
This is like my real Truman Show nightmare. Okay.
So
oh yeah, you got more results to work
yes,
out. My bad.
We have more results. Would you like to describe how you achieve your goal, since both your psi powers create no problems and you achieve your goal? So what would you like to find out?
So yeah, I'm doing useful memories here. So I basically, I think I don't want to, I don't want to destroy the utility of this, but I think that I don't know at this point. My amnesia extends pretty far, and I don't know that these things are not kindly old ladies. I kind of took this at face value that we were going to was it Happy Hopes non-denominational
Hope Point non-denominational church.
Hope Point,
friend to all.
And I think that the utility here is that I catch a glimmer. Like I watched this thing shift, but now I see that it was always that way. This isn't some foreign influence on this poor old woman. The old woman herself was the ruse, and that I think is going to cause me to be even more furious at an attempt to get out. I think I'll go ahead and say I think I convey that in just through body language and excitement to the other 2.
Well, and since your power is swimming in a sea of useful memories, if you'd like to pick up something useful from our totally not a sweet old church lady, feel free to do so. You're not breaking the game because you're awesome at psi things. You're allowed to break things.
Yeah. Maybe give me a second. Do you mind if I defer that for just a little bit?
Sure. I'm just saying, if in a minute you want to pop up and say, well, I learned something from the church lady or from the people who are breaking us out, you totally can.
Yeah.
You earned the right to come in with it.
Perfect. I think I'll say that. Yeah, it's frightened me that this it wasn't a woman that was the victim. The woman herself was our enemy. And I don't think I fully processed the rest of what the powers revealed to me.
Totally fair. There's kind of a lot happening right now. So we hear some cars starting to stop and people going like, "Oh no, there was a wreck. Are you okay?" And they're totally normal, sweet, regular people who just happened to be on the street corner for no suspicious reason. And it sounded like maybe Vi had plans.
I think Vi was gonna go outside, but like, oh, sunny. I feel like I think priority one is now like for sure getting my companion in front of me, who is presently nameless, right? Out of these things, because like I feel like more trouble is coming. something in my gut, my intuition tells me that more trouble is coming. So like I don't know, I probably like will likewise look around for like, okay, keys might not be a thing. Like can't you use your psychic blades to get out of these middens, or like cut? I don't know. What do you need?
Maybe if I try really hard and push myself to a level I never have before. It's a moment of desperation.
Well, do you need help? I can maybe help you somehow.
Well, what could you do?
I could help you try harder. Like, like because I'm trying to, yeah, I'm trying to toy around with like, I don't know. Anyway,
Well, maybe we can just see what it looks like and then figure out why it worked later.
right. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
So
As I said, it's not a neat help mechanic in here, so I'm kind of waiting for who's going to need to roll on this, and we'll decide what kind of bullshit goes down once we know how the dice have landed.
So I just want to be clear. Was it Ko or Kaio? Sorry,
Kaio. Or I pronounce it Kaio. I just got it offline. So
sure. Where is Kaio at? Like physically?
I think I'm about 2 seats. I think I'm like half body over one of the seats. I'm assuming that it's mostly set up like rows of seats. And I'm kind of where I was. My back end is where it was, and then I've reached over trying to scurry through some supplies up 1 seat higher.
Right. So yeah, here's where I'm hoping that they've underestimated my psychic power, because we're outside the van here. And I think, we see like the purple lights and like the camera's like shaking a little bit. And I'm like, I'm imagining this like to be like sort of low budget, like CW quality cinematography here, right? So I'm like just pulling out my primal yop here and going and trying to Dragon Ball Z myself out of these restraints, which were designed to limit my psychic blades, but yeah. What would it look like when you would like help influence that?
Yeah, well,
even if it doesn't have a mechanical benefit.
I think it's I think what I do is I like that. I think like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my hands like on the point of your oppression, right? Like these like manacles that have you so trapped, right? And like you get that sort of shot of like my like sort of fingertips like digging into it, like white knuckles, kind of like to help you break out of like the thing that's oppressing you.
Cool. So, do you want me to roll at this?
Yeah, I'd like you to roll to see if your psychic blades cut through these, or if they cut through everything, or I don't know what could go wrong here.
Blades. All right.
The question is, you're definitely using psi powers, but are you risking harm?
Oh yeah. I have to go to the next level.
Then you can roll 6 dice if you want.
Okay. Not that that's necessarily a good thing, but I mean, Psychic Blade, somebody's got to get hurt. That's not too bad of a spread. Okay. So capture is open now too. Do I need to roll one more? Or is that just one of the
Oh,
options?
I just hadn't moved the tokens. Chase is not on the table because they know where you are. They don't have to chase you. It's just,
Oh,
are they going to
so
capture you?
okay. Well, we can't get captured just yet. I definitely need to achieve my goal of going to the next level. I think this would be a very cool moment to reveal something from my past as something is being tapped into me. Uh, so I don't want to be impaired for the rest of the session. So I'm going to put a 4 in harm. But my powers are causing trouble with the power surge. That makes sense. Cool. So then there's just this floating too.
So, this totally works. You managed to break out of your manacles. But your fellow players get to decide how this power surge goes wrong. People may be injured, things may be broken. It would only make local news if these robots report it to the news.
At least one of these people has to actually be an innocent bystander.
Possibly.
Wait, and that's on us to decide how that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian and Lauren decide how this power surge is both awesome and possibly a bit inconvenient. Because apparently it's gonna hurt. Question marks, the Hemsworth brother. But Michael will get to say how.
Lauren, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, well, I think one I kind of have that shot in my head of like the manacles or whatever, like sort of being shot through the like blades and stuff that you get like Vi. And it's a sort of very like movie moment where Vi's like, oh shit, and like sort of realizes what's about to happen and kind of like ducks or like sort of, and a blade goes like right, sort of like maybe cuts like a few strands of hair or whatever, and just like goes shooting through like the side of the van into like God knows what. um, leaving like a sort of very like massive cut through like the side of this fan. That's one thing I can see happening.
Yeah. I don't know if if it's one of us or both of us or anything. I'm gonna say that I think that it's a surge, right? And so it's not localized, maybe like he quite wants it to be. And so like it's also at the exterior to the van. And it hits a fire hydrant, which then starts spraying everywhere, and it hits a street lamp, which then falls and starts electrocuting. This is total video game logic, by the way. Starts electrocuting the water, and it just draws a lot of attention. So like people who were already watching this rare event on the streets now are even more inclined towards to congregate around it. So yeah, we're causing more mayhem basically.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that I'm going to jump in and use my GM determines how the goal is completed thing. That, yeah, this definitely is going to break out of those manacles because you've got psychic blades popping up all over the place. And as this street lamp kind of falls into the fire hydrant, jetting out and everything, one of the, just kindly delivery guy wearing a very nondescript, like off-brand UPS uniform or something kind of steps into it, and as it electrocutes, he starts kind of melting a little, like he's having a hard time maintaining human shape. And one of the people who's evidently just a nice person who happened to be driving by starts going like, oh my goodness, what, because they did not expect both psychic powers and this person is having trouble being a person. You can see them just kind of like try to quietly get back into their station wagon and go into reverse with nobody noticing. At which point I'm going to ask Michael, how does this hurt you?
So I think it has something to do with Vi's like supercharging here. I think um, I'm going through some sort of like emotional distress as opposed to like a physical harm. Something that she did that empowered me is like hurting me in some way. Maybe like it could be like a anger sort of thing, or like one of those like angry, sad tears that I just don't have any control over. So I'm just like, ah, ah, in distress.
It's also worth noting that your fellow players will determine what sort of memory this reveals that answers one of your questions, because you left a 4 on there.
Very cool.
So what about this says something to our... I'm trying not to just refer to him as, yeah, the hot fourth Hemsworth, but yeah. And for the camera, I'm going to say that question marks as questions are: do the powers have something to say about who we are or were? If so, why do mine only have the power to harm?
Mhm.
Should I earn a new name or try to uncover my old one? Where did I learn to move like this? And how do we distinguish each other from the shape-shifting chasers?
And are we answering it in entire, or are we giving a memory that implies its answer?
You choose a memory or a question or as much as you want. You can always... I mean, Michael is always free to add more detail on, because everyone should always feel free to add self-indulgent bullshit to anything in this game they want to. But it is up to you, the two of you, to decide which question and maybe a memory seed or vice versa. Throw down as much as you want.
These questions are all so good. I can think of a good memory for all of them.
Lauren, I'm leaning towards the top two. I mean, I do agree that they're all good. The top two seem relevant to this scenario. But I mean, yeah, go for anything, honestly, because
Yeah, I think that the top one is interesting. Yeah.
for sure. And then the only thing I can think about for the second one was I think we're probably both impressed by this enough to where if you wanted to earn a new name, Havoc or something would be a good name. And we are creating a memory for him based off it, correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
as it says, you get first say. It doesn't determine who gets last say. That's pretty much always the player.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Awesome.
the third Summers brother is the fourth Hemsworth brother. Whoosh.
Well, I can give you all an idea of a visual, and maybe you can work a memory into that. So I'm thinking that like I sort of have this like cheap color filter on over my vision when I'm looking around. And all of these shape-shifting robots have like the face of one person now. To me, I am only seeing one person in all these faces. Oh, is that helpful?
You're saying that like even though they're distinctive entities that like that you kind of you view like an enemy as a single like species, right? Or is that
Yeah.
am I
Well, I
interpreting?
mean, like you all are seeing like the kindly delivery man,
Uh-huh.
the hot dog cart guy. I just see the same person. They have the same face to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like circling on a memory. um,
Do we want to put it on layaway and keep rolling.
Yeah, it's gonna go. Do you want assistance? Do you want to ponder? Do you want to move on? Or no pressure anyway.
I think I'm struggling because I normally don't like recommend something for like I mean I will actually recommend this for something, but I feel like kind of like I'm stepping on his toes. So I don't want to create the character too much. Is that like a wrong feeling, or should I basically just say what's in my head and be like, hey, consider this?
I present my toes to thee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do what you will.
Part of the thing of this game is that you don't get to define someone else's character for you without them first giving you permission by putting that die in. So
Okay.
feel free to define away, and Michael always retains the ability to say, like, nah, not really feeling it, let's do something different. But you get first say, and
Okay.
then we can clarify later.
Okay. Lauren, I'm gonna riff real fast. Feel free to counteract this. I want to build up the barista thing, the barista clothing. And it's been a hectic day at your second job of the day, and the fourth one in 3 weeks. And it's just gone totally to shit. And it's become a blur of people like getting angry and walking out without paying, and citing you as the reason they're walking out. Even though you are literally doing everything right and everything as fast as possible. And to build off that, the faces blending together, it becomes just a swirl of these everyone in the store is this one person to you. That's what I offer.
And they have a "Can I speak to your manager?" haircut.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're sort of adding some details to the answer of which question.
Oh, for this one, I'm actually, that's a good question. That's a good question. Which question? I'm actually going to say, I'm going to change what I originally was going for. I'm going to say, should I earn a new name or try to uncover my old one? And obviously the implied answer there would be no. Try to earn a new name.
Yeah, maybe it's like, maybe I'm everyone's trying to say my name at the same time, like when someone calls out to a worker or something, but they're all like saying it out of sync and so loudly that it's hard to hear what the name is. So it's just like this cacophony of like, blah, 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 blah.
I like it.
And like, do we get that shot of like, yeah, us as the audience can't see the name on your name badge that you wear for that job, right? But like, you like, I don't take it off.
Rip it off.
Rip it off, yeah.
So this is definitely like in the scene where like I just like rip my shirt off, you know. Nobody knows why who's in the scene, but everyone watching knows it serves two purposes.
Yeah.
And if I may, I think one of these people who's totally a normal person, no reason for you to be suspicious, has that exact same ask a manager haircut.
I think we're really like connecting with the Starbucks employees who are watching this video right now, who are like, I know that angry, sad tears feeling. I've been there.
They just did not have the psychic blades with which to destroy a fire hydrant.
So we're talking a little bit about the goal that we've taken out one of these chasers.
And you have busted your manacles. But it's up to you to determine why nobody gets caught.
Right. Well, this is Psi Run, not Psi Fight. So I want to try to transition this towards back to running. So like I'm imagining like one of these slices on the van, like Kaio can kind of like lift his head up out of the newly converted van here a little bit, and luckily was not harmed or anything. But I think I'm the center of attention at the very least. So this is definitely a moment where the two of you can either run or make some other plan here. But yeah, I'm the spotlight's on me here. So at least for the moment, they're circling the bull or whatever.
I think the set is like we get that thing of like, Vi ducked and then like sort of holds her wrists up with like the chains, like the medical like chains from them like cut right from like one of your errant side blades. And it's like, oh, like thanks. And then I maybe even goes to like ask your name. It's like, thanks.
And I just see like this woman with like, like the bangs and whatnot, who's just like, what's your name? What's your name? And I'm just like kind of like pushing you away, not like painfully, but just like, very much Frankenstein's monster kind of moment right now.
Oh, and she's like, oh, what is she? Yeah. I think she's like, hey, it's okay. Like, I mean, you can call me V. And I guess for the time being, I'll just call you friend.
Yeah, and you're like touching, like kindness sort of like helps coalesce this face like into yours or whatever. You've got to get out of here.
Yeah, we need to get the fuck out.
And because you evaded capture, you do get a free switch to another location if you want to just say, and so we run off to another place or something.
Ooh.
Otherwise, I'll narrate why they can't follow you as you do a thing.
I'm trying to think about how cutting through the landscape literally could possibly open a location. I was thinking like maybe the sewers, like we've cut a hole in the ground or through a manhole or something, and we could run through there. But if that's gross, we could go above ground.
Sewers are totally fine.
All right, let's get Ninja Turtle with it.
And I think this is kind of an abandoned between booms area, so there's probably not all that much gross going on down there. It's just sewers are never a place you want to eat off the floor.
Yeah, so like I'll offer you a hand out of the van to sort of lead you to, and I think there's probably like this stream of water that's like electrified that they're all trying to contend with and can't like get to us right away. So buys us just enough time to head to location 2.
I love it.
Yeah. And as you drop down into these sewers, probably in a very cool montage sort of thing, you can see both that one station wagon just kind of quietly reversing around a corner heading off, and they would have done something about it probably, except that there's the one just desperately trying to maintain any kind of structural integrity, and the other's like attempting to find a way to shut off the water or the electricity to release it, and they're kind of distracted right now. So you manage to sneak away before they can quite figure out where you've gone. Which leaves you in the sewers, which are a bit warmer because you're not out in the snow now, but they're also a bit grosser because they are the sewers, and they weren't really designed for just hanging out and walking around. So you can kind of make your way down. There's platforms along the side for maintenance workers and stuff. You maybe don't want to go trudging through the sludge unless you really want to go trudging through sludge. That's up to you. But what would you like to try to do from here?
I mean, is there some cool signage, like toward like some rebel sewer hideout kind of thing?
There totally is. If you look on the side, it looks like it's been kind of rubbed off by weather and weird and everything, and it wasn't ever neatly put on because the wall's a little bit curved and like they're spray paint and what's the word for it? When you cut out a thing.
Engraving?
Yes, they had a cutout. They spray paint over it. Words, I don't know the words. It didn't line up super neatly.
Oh,
but
like
it
a
looks
stencil?
sort of
Stencil, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. I speak English. It's my first language. Where it looks like one of those like tragedy masks, a little bit warped, a little bit bleedy around the edges, done in sort of like white stencil along this gray concrete wall with a just free-handed arrow afterward heading on down the Seward. Sewer, not Seward.
And I'm guessing we've all come down here. Like, we're all in the sewer?
You all safely made it to the sewer, unless you would like to narrate that you went to a different place, which you could do. I will say, though, that if you split the party, the chasers have more people than you. They can follow both groups equally well.
No, I'm definitely in the sewer. I think I'm assuming we're all there. I do want to say I think I grabbed something. I'm going to leave it also. I'm going to continue to defer this advantage I got. I grabbed something knowing that it was useful to the woman, but I don't recognize it, and the memory's still not back. It kind of looks like electronic. I know that, and it's in my pocket. Meanwhile, I'm gonna take the opportunity as we're navigating through a steam-filled sewer. Nice, cozy, subterranean passage to see who these people are. I definitely witnessed something because I don't know much about my power. I definitely witnessed something I didn't expect. So I'm gonna walk up to you're. Let me remember. You're quite wiry muscles. Okay. Yeah. I was wondering if you're like a brutish sort, but you're just wiry. So yeah, I'm curious. I ask you, what was that back there?
Well, we've all got a reason why they've locked us up, don't we?
I don't know my reason. Well, I thought we were just going. I'm confused. I thought I was going to do some mission work.
First timer, huh?
Yeah, we gotta all do the Lord's work someday, I guess.
Look, we're different. That's all I know.
You've had this happen before? The fighting?
Yeah, but the manacles were thinner that time.
Wow. Can I do what you just did?
Oh, I'd love to see you try.
And I think I turned to, is it Vi or V?
She goes by either. Violet,
You guys
V, Vi.
Yeah. I asked her, well, what's your story? Are you like him with
No. No, I got nothing that cool. I just have a lot of feelings.
I mean, I kind of wish I did, honestly, right? Like, it seems like I should be more in tune with the situation we're in right now. 30 minutes ago, I was convinced we were on a trip to spread the good word, and now, where are we right now? Where are we right now? What are we like? Do you know where we're going?
Well, I don't know where we're going, but I can assure you it's a shit ton better than where we've just been. So, this is the only way forward. Like, quite literally. We can't go back up there. They'll just catch us again. And I don't want to. The things they made me feel. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to feeling those things again.
So, but you remember what it was like being. I don't remember being in prison.
I mean, I don't remember much of it, and what I do remember, I want to forget. I wish I could forget like you. You're lucky.
Maybe it's a weird kind of luck. Do you know what the mask? I don't remember much, but that mask looked familiar. I mean, maybe it's just the mask that they always use, but something about that on the wall triggered something in me. Do you know it?
I feel like I don't know where I know this from, but the people that are after us. That's the mask they wear all the time. And
Well, what do you feel? Like, does it make you feel afraid, or like you say you feel? What does it give you?
Activate color filter.
Yeah.
I think like I probably looked to the mask. Ooh, yeah, it's a shot of like Violet putting her hand against like the graffiti mask on the wall, and it's like there's like the manacle that's been like cut off, and there's like the like ratty friendship bracelet. And she's like, I feel angry, but a good angry, you know, like hopeful angry.
No, that's definitely better than what we had up there. What do you think? And it's so I'm gonna say I think I will. You know, have to go through it. I think I will introduce myself to Vire V, and I'll continue to just jump between your names. But I'm gonna have to give you a nickname, I think, and I'll say that aloud. I like what do you what can I call you temporarily? Just big guy?
You can call me the guy who thinks you ask too many questions.
That's kind of long. The guy. Okay, I'll take a hint. I'll keep quiet for at least a little while.
But if you're gonna stick with us, I think we should figure out how you're useful. Just out of character, he's being very mercenary here, but like, I want you with us here, Brian.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
I'm not trying to exclude your cool character.
Yeah, no, I think I'll pull out. I got this, and I'll show him whatever it is that I have that felt really important as I grabbed it. Do you know what this is?
I don't know. It looks fancy.
And I will say that if someone wants to try to figure out what that thing is and how to use it, Brian's allowed to just narrate what it is and how to use it if he wants to just tie that in. But someone else could, like, roll with the goal of figuring out what it is and maybe spawn a memory. Except Michael can't, because he rolled last, and you can never roll twice in a row.
I love that. That's a good rule.
That is good, yeah. I'm gonna say that I don't describe what it is right now. It's perpetually defer. I'm gonna say that Miss Crenshaw thought it was really important. I remember. It's weird. I almost remember using it before, but that was Miss Crenshaw. She used it when she was driving us. I remember. But yeah,
Miss Ratchet.
Miss Ratchet.
That's what I call her.
I thought she was Daisy Crenshaw, who, you know, she's one of the best soul searchers in the church. I gotta do some soul searching of my own, I think. Good Lord.
She's the dill.
The devil. That's not what I thought, but wow. What was it she turned into? By the way, I'm assuming we're walking at a brisk pace in the direction of the stencil.
Yeah, I assume you're heading down the sewers and not just standing there like, let's all talk about our feelings.
We're probably a good mile away from where we were before, but I am curious to know, like, what do you? Is she the one that hurt you?
Yeah, I mean, she's like literally the devil.
What is it? I don't even know. I don't have words for it. Like, she became like a thing. I saw that, but I thought she was being eaten.
Look, maybe it's best if you remember her as you like wanted to remember her. Okay, I don't want to like. Yeah.
She's having those feelings again.
A lot of feelings. She's like, yeah. But yeah. If it's probably some the feelings like she is having are probably quite palpable, and like the air like her around her, like just like feelings of like pain and hurt and like it's like hot like anger.
Yeah, I think that definitely comes across to Kaio. And like I think even without many words, he's like, I mean, he doesn't need the memories to understand like the visceral, like emotional weight of both of his new companions. So I actually think he's gonna like. I mean, he's not gonna shut up, but he's definitely gonna become like real worried and like more fretful. Because I mean, before it was just like a weird thing that happened on the thing, and we're all in the Lord's hands, so like it'll be fine. But now it's like this is traumatic. So I think I'm gonna do some silent contemplation as we move forward in the direction of the mask.
I'll actually speak up here surprisingly and say, hey, she is the devil. They all are. They did things to my mind. I don't remember. But you're a first timer. Maybe you remember something. When you were a kid, were you different? Was there something about you that nobody else was like? Something you felt excluded? I think like I'm like vaguely having these like my own emotional memories of something like that happening to myself.
Yeah, and I think I'll be like, oh, I just did all the usual kid things, and I start like listing off the most generic things. Like it's like things you would see on like a television sitcom. It was like a really happy one. And then like halfway through, I describe like a memory that is definitely your memory of it. And again, like I know we talked about the not projecting. I'm going to say that I can only read these things. I can't put anything in. But stop me if that's too invasive. But yeah, so if I can, I think I'm going to say like whatever memory that you happen to have as you're asking me about. This is basically repeated back to you and reflected back to you, but totally like claimed as if it was my own because I feel it like it's a memory I have.
And I'll kind of like grab your shirt and be like, listen here, funny guy, I that's mine. Something like that, right?
Yeah, and like I'm kind of like arms up. I'm like, oh, whoa, I don't need. What did I do?
I'm starting to wonder if you're one of them. This would be a great time if somebody wants to answer that question about how we know that we're not.
I've been resisting jumping in to say like, so it looks like you're aiming at questions. Do you want to maybe roll for them? But if anyone would like to try to divine a thing, except for Michael, because he divined the last thing, so he's out.
I can only hurt.
So, out of curiosity, like it seemed like last time it was just kind of like a charge situation that got us to a roll. Like, can I kind of like call for it, just specifying the goal? Is that how that works?
Yeah. At any point, if you decide you want to do a thing and it might bring up a memory, you can say like, this feels like a roll. I mean, feel free to suggest them. Otherwise, I'll occasionally jump in and say like, so if you want to try to make it through all that barbed wire, you're going to have to roll for it.
Okay. I think I would like to roll then. And I think I'd like to. I mean, my goal essentially is to have the mental fortitude to piece apart the fact that my memory is definitely not like that memory specifically. The one that he lashed out at me for is definitely not mine. And so I think like
I was
looking
totally gonna suggest. Do you want to try to divine which memories are yours?
Yes, yeah. I'm looking at his eyes, and like I can see like his emotional connection to the memory, and like I don't feel that as much, and so it's a real like, oh wait, is that me? So that's how many there? One.
Yeah. So you're a super awesome Psi Runner. You get one, and your goal is try to figure out which memories are not actually yours.
Mm-hmm.
It might reveal something. Chasers could catch you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you using your psi powers, or are you just using your mental fortitude?
I'm going to say I'm not using it.
Okay. And is there a chance that this could hurt you?
Not unless he like knocks my lights out.
Okay, then you can roll 4, but you'll only need 3 of them.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
And yeah, there's no mechanics for me to adjudicate your conversations, but I didn't want to cut that off because I loved it. So, oh man, this is not going to go well for you.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm sorry.
So I only need the top 3, right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's all of them. Yeah, because there's no, that doesn't actually matter there. They're all fails.
So let's start with the easy things. Do you want to describe why this doesn't work for you, or would you like me to jump in with Chasers catching up to you again?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that the reason it fails is because and well, I guess it kind of answers one of my questions. Well, maybe it shouldn't entirely answer it, but like much more of my entire psychology is built up of a collage of memories that aren't mine, and so picking apart the ones that are me is next to or possibly impossible. So like I don't have any reference point, right? Like his memory just compares to someone else's memory, and they look identical. They look like mine. So I don't see it, right? Like I don't see why he would get angry at this obviously my memory.
Yeah, and maybe if you had some more time and thought, you could piece together why he thinks this is his and not yours, when obviously it's also your memory. I mean, all your memories are your memories, right?
Yeah.
Except that there's this kind of weird slooping noise, and you see somebody reforming into like it. It looks like it's Miss Crenshaw slash Miss Ratchet slash who knows what her name is, but there's no reason she'd be here. And then followed by looks like as he starts to come down, he's a delivery driver, and when he lands, he's a completely unremarkable, like almost Mr. Rogers looking sort of character. But people shouldn't be changing their faces partway through lowering into a sewer. This is very wrong, and they must have had some idea of where you were going, because that's not the manhole you dropped through. They've been following you along on the surface and are just now dropping down. You're probably going to need to do something to get away from them, because they are now occupying the same square as you, and they are going to try to catch you.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to point at Vi because you haven't done anything yet, and so you should get dibs on doing things if you would like, but you can always punt.
Oh man.
I knew he
Well-
was one of them.
And quick
Yeah,
reminder
honestly,
to Michael, if you answered a question, you can feel free to fill in an answer, whatever seems appropriate to you.
But do we get an answer? Because we got a one on the reveal.
Oh, on your old should I
Yeah.
earn a new name or try to uncover my old one, we
Oh,
we
yes,
arrived
yes,
at an
yes.
answer. You can
Yes,
phrase
yes,
it however
yes.
you like.
Okay, sounds good.
And now back to Lauren. Sorry for cutting you off there.
No, honestly, that's like Violet's best thought as well. It's like, okay, like either one of you is like more or less on their side, or one of us has like a wire in us or something. I feel like, I don't know, for some reason, like her instinct is to, I don't know, get her to strip down or like figure out how they're tracking us. But also, like, we should probably deal with that later, like when we can get away from these like fuckers. I think like, ooh. What is she gonna do? I kind of feel like, yeah, she'll look to like her companions and say something to the effect of like, look, we can sort this shit out later. Like, we need to just lose them somehow. And I think like I think she'll, yeah, I feel like she'll just take the nearest like sort of side alley like through this like sewer system, and we'll try to, I don't know, maybe we'll find out if she's been here before in like the sewer, in the sewer riddle basement, and yeah, I feel like that's what she's gonna try and do, is just try and just like evade them in
Yeah.
the
So
sewer tunnel
your goal
system.
is lose them in the maze of the sewers.
Yeah.
So again, the questions are you going to use your psi powers to this, and is there a chance you might get hurt?
I feel like, yeah, I kind of like the idea of soaking in like the memory, like the sort of feelings of this place, to get a handle on like where to go to like maybe find this little secret hidden like rebel base in the sewers. And yeah, I feel like there's potential to get hurt. Like if yeah, hidden traps, chases. I feel like there's probably a lot of things that can probably hurt emotionally. Yeah.
Okay. Then you can roll 6 dice.
Okay. Awesome. Let's go for pink. Oosh. Okay. So I think I'm gonna. I can just pass these out to like any of these 5, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And again, you've got 1 more dice than you'll need, so you can dump one.
Oops. Oh no. I put a 4 somewhere and I got eaten.
It's okay. I will trust that you had a 4 because I totally saw it. And I don't know why.
Oh, it's up there. Oh, why? Okay, there we go. Excellent. Okay.
When did Roll for Your Party develop dicekinesis?
I'm gonna say we evade capture. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, all real memory. And let's say ooh. Interesting. I'll say no one gets hurt, but so I guess my psychic powers are gonna go wild. Yeah, there we go. Delete that one. Yeah, there we go. That's my dice. What if it's down?
I'm just looking down these going, so what is a logical one to start on? Because we have a ton of things happening here.
Oh, yes.
I suppose a good one to start, at least deciding, is do you have a memory you'd like to answer? Because you get first say on what memory and how it's revealed.
Mm.
And if you want to pick one and then have some time to sit on it, I can narrate other stuff. Or if you have an idea, by all means, soldier forth.
Ooh. I kind of like, yeah, I've got an idea for the third question. Anyway. Which, ooh, I guess it's like, I just get to like narrate a memory or like.
Yeah, you can throw out as much memory bullshit as you want. You have first say.
Well, I kind of feel like, so like there's a flashback to like, this like very makeshift room in the sewers. Like it's very like sort of rebel base, very like sort of rebel base. Like there's a lot of charts up there, corkboards, like photos of people, like there's Miss Ratchet up there, and like other sort of people of interest, like in this entity that's trying to like oppress us and stuff. And there's like another woman there. I can't remember her face. Like it's just very like, yeah, I can picture what she's wearing. She's like it's like similarly wearing lots of leathers and like punk outfits and stuff. But I can't see her face. But it's like this very montagey memory of like, okay, you're gonna go in there and like infiltrate that space that they occupy, and then like you're gonna try and like fuck them up from the inside out, kind of thing. And I feel like, yeah, then there's like a cut to like Violet in the institution, like sort of receiving messages and stuff from like the rebel, like the rebel people, to like, yeah, try and find a way to like source weaknesses in this place and stuff, and that like she's she's like been here before and stuff, but at some like at some point she's become like a victim of that system and whatever. I think I haven't figured out that, but yeah, I think like she for sure has a memory of like the reason why like she feels stronger around like her oppressors is like she's got these people, like she had these rebels to like back her up and stuff, and her job was to go in there and like fuck the system from the inside out, which is sad because that didn't happen, obviously. Yeah, that's that memory, I think.
Maybe you made some headway that we'll see pay off later, but yeah, you've got a whole crew behind you. Feel free to put that into the answers block for that question however you like, because we'll want to know how many answers you have later on.
Oh, awesome.
And because you get first say on how nobody's caught, is there another location you'd like to end up in? Since you're navigating us through these sewers so expertly.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like that thing of like, I know that the secret is like probably a thing that looks like it's a wall or like looks like it's a dead end, or there's like some sort of like small hole to like crawl through, but I'm like, like this way kind of thing, and like you'll like grab my companions and like sort of like jerk them into like whatever secret passageway like leads through to like this like underground rebel secret base or whatever. And we probably get that shot of like sort of like the pitter patter of feet of people trying to find us and stuff, but we're like sort of in the shadows.
Sweet. I've had a secret passage to our trail, which again isn't super important for you to keep an eye on. Just if you're ever curious how far behind you the chasers are, that drawing says where they are relative to you. Right now it's back in the sewers trying to figure out where you slip through. So let's see your other dice. You're not hurt, which is rad. And yeah. I'm gonna say the downside to this is as you're searching, your feelings for I'm just going to end up quoting Star Wars for what you know to be true about these sewers and about the rebel bases and all that kind of stuff. It sort of almost seems like you can see people. I mean, not very clearly. They're just kind of like sketches of people, not faces or even identifying garb and everything, following these pathways through the sewers, almost starting to put up those signs you've been noticing, and you see other ones too that have kind of faded off over time and not been replaced, indicating that certain passageways are known to these people behind you and that kind of stuff. But it gets bigger than that, and to where suddenly your compatriots are also aware of these things, and they can't quite parse the memories that you're bleeding so much as a sense of knowing things and emotional connection that it's hard to figure out because they've got no context for it. And you even see the things behind you start to kind of look around at stuff that, do they see them as people? Are they just seeing like glitches in their code or something? Who knows? But they kind of stop and like lance arm through something that's not there. It was never there. And portions of the sewer start kind of breaking down as these things are indicating important places that your chasers can't really distinguish from you. Apparently, it seems like they think that they're real people, although to you they're obviously just memories. And a portion behind you collapses as you slide through the secret passage. They have an idea of where you went. They'll probably catch up, but for now you can breathe a little as these things start to fade out and you kind of get a handle on yourself and you know where you are and you know why you're here. And all of your kind of ghostly friends fade away. Except you don't have any friends. You know that for sure.
Beginning to think that like they took my memories and like they were the ones that made me feel like I didn't have any friends. Although now my friends are actually dead. So,
oh no! When I say ghostly, I mean only that they were not physically there. Not that they're all dead. Although maybe they're all dead. I don't know. Only you know. Oh man, I'm just noticing question marks list of names, and they're all so incredibly vague. I love/hate them.
I'm writing them all down as they come. Ooh. So we're in this intimate secret passage now.
Mm-hmm.
Close quarters.
Yes, a secret passage that Vi no doubt has some memory of how to navigate. I'm not sure where you may be intending to lead people, or if your memory breaks down at this point.
Yeah, I like the idea that it's like a very, very clear, distinct memory of like this passage exists and it's going to get us like to a safe space. But then like after a couple of turns, like those memories like fade away, and like that feeling of like you're trying to grasp for something in the back of your memory, but like you really can't get it, and it's just like on the tip of your tongue kind of thing. And she's just like, ugh, like kicks the wall. When like she realizes that she doesn't know like where to go next. It's like, oh fuck, we're gonna die down here. They're gonna find us and it's gonna be for nothing.
How emotionally charged are you right now, Vi?
Yeah, probably like very static electricity feelings, like you could probably pick up some feelings if you touch me.
Yeah. So those ghostly images weren't visible to us, right? That was just her.
No, as it
They
continued
were.
progressing, you could start to see forms of people doing all sorts of things, some harder to make out than others, but clearly lots of memories of this place and emotionally charged things kind of crackling into existence and then fading back out.
Yeah. I think I'm going to attempt to, I've been thinking as we've been walking about where I fit into this thing, and I do seem to realize that my memories can't be trusted, and that other people's can. And so I'm not like trying to like read the situation. I'm just trying to I'm looking at these little ghostly visages. That's a tough word. And like studying their faces as before they waft into nothingness, and like trying to imagine who they were, just kind of empathizing with them. And I think that's actually a pretty good trigger for my power, right? Like I think it's mostly based on visual identification. So I don't think I'm necessarily like reading Vi's memory. I think I'm reading these ghosts' memories and trying to get what I can from them. So yeah, all of it. I'm doing all of it. The psi power. And I'm actually going to say that this can hurt me.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So you're using this as kind of a reference point to try to sort through your own memories too?
I'm trying to find something useful, and like I think it's at the point. So there's a little bit of time disparity here, because I think Vi's only mad when she realizes she's a little bit lost, right? But I'm doing it. I'm doing this kind of in the process of as these things are disappearing, and then as she is getting lost, I think would be the onset of when the memory, if it happens, comes into my head.
Yeah, you've been trying to parse these clouds of people.
The Jungian collective unconscious.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Literally walking through a sea of memories.
Yeah, I didn't intend that to be literal, but yeah.
Yeah, but it all comes together as Vi seems to get lost and kicks a wall, and you roll a handful of dice to see how well this sorts out for you.
That's 6, right?
Yeah, assuming you're risking everything. Psi powers, harm, all the stuff.
Oh, yay, a pretty good roll.
Yay.
Okay, so...
I mean, boo for me, but yay for you.
Actually, everything is successful. Just degrees of success, looks like.
Yes, which pulls up one of the nifty narrative things that, like, you can decide whether you want to narrate your memory or whether you want to have the team narrate it for you, and so on, because you're going to get stuff. It's just who decides what is up to you.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Unharmed. Well, I think I've. No, there's 6. the locking on these dice is amusing to me. Sometimes it kind of goes where I expect. Sometimes it doesn't. I think that's it right there.
They jump. Sweet. So they have made no headway, but you have gained something from this strangely physical sea of memories in which you temporarily found yourself. And you have first say on almost everything here, so oh goodness, players get to pick your memory.
Yeah, so I'm going to give that one away. Feel free to jump in whenever for that. As I guess I go through some of these other things.
Yeah, I can determine how you achieve your goal, but I think I'm going to hold off on that
for a second until
I see what it is that you're managing to uncover from these people, or what you're managing to remember about yourself.
So the managing to uncover, which one is that actually answering? Because I thought that was goal.
Yeah, your goal is going to be what useful thing you take away from this.
Okay.
But you're revealing a memory which could be about, are these memories of yours real, or are they from other people, or that kind of stuff. But it's up to Lauren and Michael what sort of answer you get out of here, and I will make it useful.
Cool.
Unless they also make it useful, in which case they've done work for me, and that's awesome.
I have an idea for the memory, but this is also like your cool rebel enclave here, Lauren. So
I go for gold.
So, is it okay if we touch on that first, or did you want to go through other stuff?
I think that's the big one that's sort of kickstarting everything else.
So I want to answer the question: is my past my own or collected from others? So I think we're seeing all these like people, and they got like cool like punk outfits on and whatnot, right? And like you're maybe sort of leading us, like you see them like pointing, like talking to somebody, and then they like point down and you sort of follow them, and there's like a subway that goes by in some tunnel or something, and like you duck, but it goes right past. You hear the sound, you feel the wind, but there's nothing there. Mm-hmm. And then I think you like come face to face with yourself, and you're like probably for a moment like kind of shocked by that. But then we hear like screaming and like gunfire and all that kind of chaotic stuff. And I think, let me know if this goes too far, but maybe you see yourself die. And you realize that like those memories you had like were not your own. And then like you look in like a puddle and see your reflection for the first time, and it's like a totally different face or something. I don't know. Maybe that's too far, but
yeah. No, I think I definitely like the seeing myself die and like identifying with it until the point at which like, well, that doesn't make causal sense. I'm gonna modify, if you don't mind, yeah. the seeing myself in the puddle thing. What I'll say is that I don't think it's like unaccustomed that I would know my own face, but I think that in that moment, like when I'm remembering, like even though it basically takes me to look in that puddle to see that other face that I actually fully break the spell of. Am I dead? Like, is anything real right now? So no, I like that a lot. That's a quality memory, and that is answering are my memories my own or collected from others.
Right.
Okay, cool. And does that help you, Ryan, in terms of determining utility?
Sure. I mean, whether it helps me or not, I get to do stuff. You don't have to help me out, but I appreciate checking in. Yeah, and you're just racking your brain, kind of expecting that this might pull up a lot of stuff and maybe even start to pull down the Jenga tower of your memories, possibly. I mean, but it all works and it sort of sorts out a memory that weirdly quickly for you, you recognize that this isn't yours. And you can see that like your hands don't look like your hands and everything, but normally you'd be kind of caught in the dreamlike spell of that. But here you know this is something you picked up from somebody else. Who knows whether they gave it to you or you just kind of glormed it through your psi powers or whatnot. But you can see them kind of gesturing off down a tunnel and half saying to someone off screen that, like, oh yeah, we had to close that other one. It's not structurally sound. You need to route around the other way, and starting to head off in a direction, and you're missing bits of it, but you know that one of the ways that you could, wait, that actually looks like a pretty decent direction to get going. It still has a bit of that sign that it looks like maybe somebody started to scratch off as you start looking closer, and like maybe it was put back on, but you know that that's not where you should be headed. It was, at least at some point, kind of almost a trap ending, and you're sure that you need to head left here. I mean, it doesn't look a good way to go, but you should definitely go left. That's what your mind's telling you. You're pretty sure that you're going to be safe that way.
Cool. And because I'm greedy, does my mind tell me the sort of nature of the thing I'm headed towards? Am I headed towards like greater information or security? Do I get that from the memory?
Yes, this voice that's definitely not yours. It sounds kind of familiar, but I mean, is that you knew them or just that it's in your head and therefore it feels familiar? It's kind of hard to parse that out. It's saying like, yeah, I can't explain too much, but they'll have answers there.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Perfect. Yeah, no, I think the moment that Vi kicks the wall or whatever, I don't want to sound demeaning. I'll be like, don't be so glum. But I'll be like, oh Vi, I think I've got a good feeling about left. I think we should go left.
Yeah, you're.
Oh no, they've got her.
Oh no.
I think I probably looked at our nameless friend, who's
Okay.
got off
You
camera.
rebutted for a second there. I heard that you looked toward
Oh,
friend
I
slash
looked
guy
towards
slash Hemsworth, but was there more
Yeah.
before that?
Yeah, I think Vi like is like skeptical of like care a little bit, but it's like, yeah, it's like the only option we have really. Like, we'll go left. What is our friend thinking?
Well, I'm not gonna die down here, but I'll begrudgingly go left.
Yeah, I'll definitely take the lead, like very confident in this, and eager to show my worth, so to speak.
Yeah, and it must be the right way because before too long you see like a grate and there's one of those signs and it looks fairly fresh. Like it's not still damp, but the lines are a lot crisper. It doesn't look very weathered. So clearly someone's been down this way and they want you to head there.
Maybe they're not dead.
So I'm assuming that the three of you continue heading through these sewers, not stopping to hang out because who knows how well those robot things can make it through stuff. Or clearly they were tracking you over land somehow. They could drop down behind you. Who knows? But you've got a bit of a lead on them. Probably. Maybe.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm ready for a scene transition.
Yes. So I think we cut there. There's probably like made for TV, CW, this is super awesome, or whatnot. Ad break, which would be a good point for do people want like a quick break before we go back into this? Or are
Sure.
you good to go?
Yeah, and remind me what our timing is here.
We've got about another hour on the clock, and I'm gonna force us toward a resolution because there is an epilogue thing for this as
Oh,
we
cool,
get
cool,
closer
cool.
to that. Um, at which point, it's worth me reminding you that whoever has the most answers gets to pick the epilogue of their choice, and everyone else gets to pick the leftovers. So if you want to reveal some memories, it would be good to choose to do things that are going to trigger stuff for you, because whoever remembers the most gets first dibs.
Just like the exams. Okay.
Ha,
I would
yes.
like to refresh my drink real quick.
Cool. So let's meet back at like 35 and assume in the meantime there are ads for, The Flash and other terrible CW shows going. So the three of you are progressing down this secret sewer passage, which it looks like probably the entrance into it was secret so much, and it's kind of out of use, but it's not a passage carved by this rebel group, whoever they may be or whatnot. They just have secret ways. They probably spend more time down here than these strange robots, and I agree. I like the idea of Psylocke a lot better than I like the character Psylocke. But anyway, back to this. And along the way, you find an opening that it's not really hidden, but like some sheet metal was pulled over the front with one of those little symbols on it. And as you push that away, you can see that there's a stash of like a bit of food, some like glow sticks, and a leftover taser with a note saying, yeah, take a thing, leave a thing, essentially. And it doesn't have notes to where the base is, because who knows who might have found this. But you're starting to get the drift of how they're indicating things, and you're pretty sure that from here you can find where either they are holed up, or at least where they were holed up. You're on the right trail, at least. This doesn't seem to be an area of the sewers that they've marked burned. They've still got stuff here. So, what do you want to do from here?
Mostly brood.
I will also mention that far off, kind of echoey, kind of almost on the edge of hearing, you think you hear a drill, but that doesn't make a ton of sense. Why would anyone be drilling down here? Unless maybe they had moldable metal arms?
Well, when you put it like that. I don't know about you all, but I'm starting to feel a little claustrophobic. Like some fresh air.
Yeah. Got some bad feelings about this place.
See any ways up, Kaio?
And I'm racking my brain for more memory, even though it's definitely, it's exhausted. I'm at the end of the tank. And so I kind of look around. I'm like, well, I don't know. That sound doesn't sound good. Maybe up is the right way, but I don't see anything obvious here. And what is our surrounding? Is just it's just a secret passage. There's nothing super descript.
This is a like pull off in the sewer that clearly they've tried to brick off to make into kind of a room, but it probably was important for maintenance at some point. But as you're looking around, racking your brain, going, if only I had a useful memory, you kind of look up and see that there is like a ladder that starts about halfway up that you could probably hop to and pull yourself up, and like a manhole cover where you could get up ground if you want. It looks like they've tried to bar it from this side, so you have to be in here to get back up. But you're on this side. It's not going to stop you.
And I'll turn to Guy and say, ask and ye shall receive, because I still haven't shaken off Christianity entirely, apparently.
Let's go.
So who is going to head up here and try to open that thing? Or are you going to hair off down the sewers instead? Or, I don't know what. Carve new tunnels with your Psi blades.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, since you seemed the most eager, I think if it's up a little bit out of the way, I think I'll go ahead and try to boost you up to it, so you can take the lead on it. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I think that like you start to, but then like I show some like acrobatic, like
Oh, nice.
like parkour type capability here. Because that was like sort of one of my questions.
I saw where you want that. Yeah.
I'm just seeing KO like ready in the hands for an alley-oop, and guy/friend/? Just kind of takes a running jump at the wall, climbs, grabs a ladder, and he's up. And everything's awesome.
Yep. I'm imagining there's some like rusted metal like bulk head type like big iron ring to twist or something like that.
And it's kind of stuck. Like they haven't come out this way for a while. So would you like to roll to do this? Because
yes.
rolling does mean the chance for memories and also the chance to maybe just go, heck with this, Psi Blades.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, let's do a cool side blade thing for sure. I do have them. Smoke them if you got them. But I don't want to hurt anybody. This is a controlled side blade action. So 4 dice, right?
Well, if you're using Psi Blades, then you automatically get 5 dice.
5.
And you were impaired earlier, but only for a scene, so you walked it off. You're feeling better now.
Okay.
You don't have to do the impaired penalties.
You know, I think I want to not use Psi Blades. I think I want to just be muscular. Have my memories come from there.
Yeah, 4 dice for being super buff.
Was it CrossFit? Was it what? So I picked the top 3?
Yes.
Hey.
Or any 3, but I would suggest the top 3. I want that good epilogue. But I do need a good answer. Okay. And it's worth noting here as well that if the chasers make no progress on you, they're going to be 2 locales behind you. They're going to have to work to catch you. Do you want a head start? Or do you want to get caught?
Because if they move 1 closer, then it's going to be in capture again. Is that the idea? Or do we both move 1?
Your goal is partially moving to a new location. So if they move 1 closer, they're going to be right behind you. But they'll have found the secret passage.
Yeah, let's do that. No breathers just yet. So I will... Yeah, because I don't know why I move like this. I want somebody to come up with a cool thing. So I'll just leave that for the 5. Or you can answer some other question, because I'm giving you that power. So I will give the 6 to the goal, the 5 to the reveal, but only the 3 to the chase. That drill is still buzzing.
Apologies, didn't want to unmute just in time to sneeze right into my mic. Okay. So, the chasers are moving closer, but probably the most interesting thing here is the reveal. So what about opening this sewer grate and coming out into wherever it is you come out? It seems to strike a memory for you, because... Oh, wait. Other players have first say. I forgot that that's how it breaks. What about this seems to strike a memory for your friend? Friend guy.
I can think of one thing. So feel free to knock this out if it's not appropriate. But I think that the 2 things that have occurred to Kaio is that you have the offensive power, right? Whereas me and Vi have like intel type of powers, right? Like we have things that don't seem to be as capable of causing damage, and then also you don't move like we do, as I just saw, right? And I think that actually makes me wonder. Also, you were the one that I think first mentioned, hey, you could be one of them, and I think that's like prompted me to think about, well, what if Guy, who I don't know his name still. He doesn't seem to know his name yet. What if he was one of them? So now I'm getting a little paranoid. And I think the memory would be you were at one point a part of whatever program department that these things come from, and you were trained to be like, I don't know, I'm not saying say combat necessarily, but something involving uh, uh, agile and destructive potential. So I envision you in some kind of regime where you're improving your skills routinely and have now had to conceal that from us for reasons unknown, for maybe one more memory down the pipe. So remember that if you want. Otherwise, that's what I've got.
I love that. What's the visual?
Yeah,
like what about this effort is like reminding me of that time?
Yeah, so that's it's tough to actually. This is an interesting mechanic because it's tough to put my mind in your mind to remember to see what prompts you to memorize that. I do think that the one of the emotions is like, hey, here's someone who's this is also my character, so jaded. Who's like, okay, I'll help you. This is a tough feat, and you're just like, oh no, I've been here, right? Like this is me, and you're just naturally inclined towards self-reliance. And my training has mastered this, and so that process of like fluid motion and self-reliance just sort of prompts you to remember. This is not the first time you've had to run an obstacle course and had to massage the environment around you into something that was more easy to get through.
Intense. I dig it. Cool. Do I GM? Okay, so the rest is up to you, Ryan.
Yes. I will say that if you want to flesh out what that memory tells you about yourself or how it answers one of your questions, feel free, because you ultimately will write in the answer.
Right.
Yeah, please do, because like I said, I feel like it's your memory.
So I think that like, and stop me if I'm making this too concrete, Ryan. But I'm thinking like,
if you want to remember your name and your home address and everything, go for it.
Yeah,
I go for concrete details.
Yeah,
my name is no. I'm thinking like my person, like I was like a template for this program. Like maybe these cyborgs are like modeled after. Maybe not me. Well, let's just say me. Let's make me the star of the show. I was gonna say maybe it's a whole team. No, like they're modeled after me and like that training I went through. I was like some sort of Navy SEAL, like spec ops military guy, and so when they first started the program, like, and I think that's it sort of ties into like being a barista. Was that like I also trained to like blend in with the society and be a normal benign member of the populace. Mm-hmm. But then that just leaves us with this next question of like, why did they move on to robots instead of real people? So that's what do you think about that? How does that work?
Oh, I like a lot.
That's awesome, and that leaves a lot of interesting threads for me to play with too.
Okay.
Yeah, I also like the idea, especially that like essentially you are capable of pretty much everything they can, minus the technical stuff, right? Like the technological stuff. So like you said, you're the template. I like the notion that you would recognize in these people pretty much everything, like physicality wise, that you're familiar with, but that is
Yes.
pushed to
You're
the
the
next level.
Arnold
Oh,
Schwarzenegger to the
I'm Jason Bourne. Yeah.
1000s.
yeah,
I'm just Jason Bourne. Okay.
Yeah,
Moving right
true.
along.
Exactly, Jason Bourne. You've got amnesia and everything. And psi
Oh my
powers.
god.
I
It's
mean, he doesn't
psychic
show him off in the
Jason
movies,
Bourne.
but you know he has them.
Cool.
So,
But yeah, go ahead.
yes. And as you make this realization, the grate kind of gives because you're tougher than any old rusty sewer grate. And you see above ground it getting kind of pushed off and off to the side, and a bit of snow falling off of it. And it comes out in a back alley between, looks like probably abandoned factories or something. It's got a pretty industrial vibe. You'd have to go inside to see what it's about, although, NeoDetroit. Probably cars are involved somehow. But it doesn't look like anyone's walked down here recently, at least. There's still snow falling, but it's not covering any footprints. So, for the moment at least, unless they've learned how to climb alongside walls or something, you're probably safe here. You can hear that drill sort of catch and turn and then get louder, like maybe it's just burst through something, though, so you probably want to keep moving. And also, too, as you step up into here, you can see kind of tucked into a corner where there's doesn't look like it's been in use for ages, but intercom system to like open a loading dock has one of those signs and arrow kind of pointed off again. So you must be on the right path to something, or at least they anticipated that someone might head this way. Are you just gonna trump through the snow? Or are you trying to go inside? Are you going to open your mind to the psychic maelstrom and for clues? That's a different game, but it works here.
Yeah, I take in a big breath of fresh, cool air. That's like the only break I'll give myself. But I'll like help like lift people out. And I pull you out, V, and I think I see something like in your eyes that like triggers my own memories of like that sort of game face, like I think I say to you like you look like you're on a mission.
Yeah, I look, I'm always on a mission. I feel like, yeah, the mission's not going to be over until like those assholes are out of the picture.
So what's our objective, soldier?
Well, I mean, we can only run for so long. And we're only, there's so many more of them than there are of us. I've only ever been a soldier. I've only ever been like a pawn in the system. But maybe we can, I don't know, find something in this place. Like maybe someone left some keys. Maybe there's like a way we can just like get the fuck out and then regroup.
Yeah, we
I
definitely
like,
need some wheels.
yeah.
Does anyone remember how to drive?
Well,
say that towards the end of this alley, you can see, with a dusting of snow, like it hasn't moved in a while, an old delivery van, if you want to try to break into that and drive away.
Yeah, that's probably where like V sprints off to, like leaving behind like footprints in the snow to a said vehicle.
And I think we could have a car, like a road trip combo again. If we need
Yeah.
Yes. In which case, would you like to roll for getting in and like driving a car, or are you gonna try to rummage around for keys or something? Regardless, it's probably gonna come down to a roll. But what's your ultimate goal here?
You. I feel like it's always fun to like try and hotwire things, right? Like that's always fun.
If you wanted to say like, I'm sure that they left us a car with keys, if only I remember the secret passcode or something, then sure, that happens now. But you are welcome to hotwire cars.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I have this visual of like kind of like unleashing feelings to get into like this car somehow. Yeah. Yeah, I dig that. I'm gonna try and use my feelings to like rip off like the door to this car, the door to this like delivery van.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna channel
Start
all
cars
like
with feelings.
yeah, I'm gonna channel all the rage and like
to.
emotional trauma and violence that was like committed upon me, and I'm gonna rip the door off this fucking vehicle, this like delivery van.
Sweet. So you're obviously using psi powers. Are you risking harm?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I could probably hurt
Just
myself or
yeah, dislocating a shoulder.
yeah,
You feel so hard you dislocate your shoulder. Oh my goodness.
yeah, totally.
Go ahead and roll 6 dice then.
Awesome. 66. Ooh, that's not too bad. I will. Oops. Oh, I keep doing that. Achieve a goal. I will.
And as you're loading your dice, we cut away to a scene in the sewer where we see these people looking like very normal people. They're tromping through the sewer like, somebody in a Mr. Rogers cardigan does every Sunday. He looks like he wants to tell you about Jesus or something, but also maybe find you because he's a robot. I don't know. And a delivery guy. And there's just more of them kind of amassing. And it looks like they're communicating somehow, but they're not actually saying anything. And one of them looks toward the passage and just kind of pulls it up, and they all flow through, like not even trying to duck, not even keep up the pretense of being human. They just kind of mold under and then emerge on the other side looking like regular people and head off. They've got a mission and they're going to find you.
Oh my lord.
Giving me like real IRS anxiety right now.
And they will audit you.
Oh my gosh. Oh lord. Yeah, I think this is gonna go down. Ah, shitting hell. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I think that's how I'm gonna do them. Oh, actually, I want to swap these around. Yeah, there we go. Done.
Okay, I'm seeing 2 in the harm box and none in Psi. What's supposed to be in Psi?
2 in the
Okay,
side box. Yeah.
cool. I think Roll for Your Party probably just threw the dice after they were placed, but I didn't see where they were supposed to
Probably.
be. Sweet. Man, for having a passive power, yours are backfiring all over the place.
I know. um. Yeah. I feel like I can describe what this looks like if that would help.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that you moved it out of you determining how the powers do no harm, but I want to see what it looks like as you attempt to open a car with your feelings.
Yeah, like I feel like these powers manifest because I love color um by yeah, you must get sort of like a neon overlay like over whichever body part like Vi is using to like concentrate all these emotions into like doing what she's trying to do. So I feel like we just like hear her like give a very like visceral like grunt scream as like she um I think like she doesn't even like go for the handle. She like sort of just puts her hand like into the middle of like this car door, and like we get like red sparks of like rage, right? So like coming out of her fist is like she grips this like door, and then like the red sort of manifests like more as she like sort of puts even more sort of forced concentration, and then like she just spits out another scream as like she's um pulls like this door off of its hinges and like sort of has to like jimmy it a bit off of like the hinge to like pull it free, and then just like casts it. That's what it'll look like. Sort of just like cast it aside kind of thing with like this like sort of red sort of like going up like to her elbow, sort of faintly glowing neon.
Sweet. And that looks really great and cool and all, except that as before, like when she was crackling with memory, it's not just the feeling that she's thrumming with it, but actual like static electricity kind of almost coming off. And in this moment of bright rage, it kind of arcs away from her, and you hear the cars start up, you hear street lamps come on, and the bulbs just burst, and it's like a block-wide power surge as her emotions alone and memories seem to power up and just completely overload the grid for this area. And everything goes dark. But the van's on now, so yay, it doesn't have a door, but you can get in. You can go wherever you like.
I love it. I love it. I made the streetlights angry. I like that a lot.
Yes. They were so angry they exploded, and now nobody can use them. There's even a distant rumble of something in the factories behind you where probably something's powering up and moving. But that's not your problem. That's whoever owns that building. So, nothing to worry about there. And I think we quickly cut away to underground where all of a sudden all the emergency lighting just flinks on in a section with a kind of loud chunk. And we see your pursuers look up like, what's going on? And all of a sudden they explode. And there's bits of glass just kind of flying off, and some of them landing into these people where it's not cutting really. And there's no blood. It just leaves kind of a weird metallic dent. And the glass kind of pops out and it seals up into cardigan or face or whatever again. And they don't even look annoyed. They just kind of pause and wait to reassemble before moving onward. And You see them move into that sort of secret passage room and look up to where they can see it, the manhole cover, which you could put back in place, but you couldn't latch, so they're gonna be able to follow you. But then again, they're probably gonna be able to follow you anyway. They have ways. This also reveals a memory, though. So what about exploding things with your feelings of anger? Or what about Vi exploding things with feelings of anger? Strikes a memory for her, other players.
Any thoughts, Brian?
Again, loose thoughts, but always like not around like a crystalline memory. Like I always like. I actually think that this, and Vi, feel free to shoot this down if this is something different you had in your head. But like, I imagine this is probably one of the first times you've like just applied it to something fairly benign, right? Like this is a car door, right? Like, I mean, it's important to us because we need to get on the road. But like, it doesn't seem like like it sounds like the question that should be answered here is how can I make my powers active rather than passive? And it seems like this should be the memory, right? Which I guess would be like you could remember back to an instance. Michael, maybe you have a idea for this. An instance where you could have saved like maybe some of your friends, but you didn't use that active emotional power, right? Like you chose to say, "Oh, that's not relevant for the situation" or something. Maybe her friends are all dead because she didn't find that inner emotional strength.
Maybe it's like when you did experience that trauma, that the emotional impact was so strong that you cut yourself off from your feelings and friendship. And so it's been very passive. You have to actually feel something if you want to use your powers actively. Maybe you can make other people feel things, like you did for my character earlier, but you have to feel yourself if you want to accomplish anything. And anger is a good one to start with, I'd say. So I can't wait to see how you empower your sadness, though. That would be cool. Or grief.
Yeah, same. I like that idea a lot. Yeah. Yeah, instead of being emotionally burnt out.
Yeah, and maybe with the colors, like this memory, it's like all of your friends are laying like battered and broken in some rubble or something, and it just all turns like monochrome gray, And,
Oh.
Yeah. Got to survive.
I love that.
I didn't realize I wasn't muted as I was squeaking, so apologies, but I love all of them. So, now we progress into our final stage of the game, where, unfortunately, we have a tie for who has the most memories. I assume Vi is putting in a thing there. So, we can either, roll off to see who has first pick, or you can fight amongst yourselves for it, because both Guy and Vi have the most memories unlocked so far. And this will determine what sort of endings we end up pushing toward.
Evens or odds?
Evens.
Alrighty, here we go. Even Steven.
Sweet. So I'll put these in the chat as well, but the list of... let me back up a sec. We are approaching the crossroads, which is sort of a set of scenes where you don't have to roll for things anymore. It's just whatever you narrate is law, and it happens that way. But it has to push toward one of these reasons why you're no longer running. And those are home, turning the tables, on a quest, hidden, trapped, lost, or making a discovery. And no one can have the same reasons why they're not running, and you can interpret them however you like, but you will get full authority to narrate a scene for that, as I will also NeoDetroit. Generally some kind of final conflict, although if you're all like lost and trapped, that may not make sense. It'll kind of shake out there. But I will go ahead and put those in here too so you can see them. And Lauren gets first pick, followed by Michael, followed by Brian. And years and years of online roleplay will make it quickly.
Paid off.
my tragic MMO past. Yeah, and we will all pick these, and then don't necessarily need to play them out in that order, because sometimes one will make sense to go be first, or whatever. So everyone feel free to call dibs upon the one you want, in the order in which you make all these.
And remind me again, so like these are like it's like, say for example, if I don't know, like very open for interpretation, like, oh, I'm just gonna pick this oh wait, I'm not running anymore.
Yeah, it completes the sentence, I am no longer running because I am.
Oh, cool.
But you can interpret that sentence you create however you like. Like, because I am home, I mean, what does home mean to you? You have full narrative authority over this.
Neat. I think on a quest is a good one for Violet.
I'm turning those tables then.
Sweet.
DJ friend guy.
Making a discovery.
I like how you all went for the most active ones possible. It's wonderful.
So now we take turns again, kind of just doing free narration of those epilogues?
Yeah, now you just epilogue at your character however you like. And yeah, like I said beforehand, there's no die rolling here, so you can do pretty much whatever you want. You can move around the bad guys, you can narrate how a rebel base thing works out. Whatever. It's collaborative. I mean, people can briefly weigh in, but you get first say about anything that happens to your character and anything that touches upon them. And if someone really wants to go first and has a clear idea, go for it. Otherwise, I was going to say that I am curious about what On a Quest looks like to Violet.
Violet, feel free to jump in for the quest. I will say, I think my making a discovery will be fairly, like in terms of time scale, it'll be fairly immediate after we last cut away. If your quest is immediate, then go for it. I just want to say I'm probably gonna.
Yeah, that's the thing I forgot to elaborate as well. That this can be 5 years from now if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
In the next 20 seconds, whatever you want, you have full control. But it sounds like maybe Brian has something ready to go, unless Lauren is ready. I don't know. I don't want to dictate too much, but I'm curious.
I think I have half an idea. So if Brian wants to like yeah. So I think I know what won't happen in the immediate. I'm just trying to like think about what happens in 5 years from now.
Well, I'll go with my immediate. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll come up. I don't have no idea what 5 years from now looks like. I'm just getting the ropes. But that device I found on the seat in front of me was definitely of use. And now that we're in the car, driving to destination unknown, I have the opportunity to kind of like just kind of tinker with it, Rubik's cube like in my hands, and I'm learning enough about like I'm fresh enough with the power that I don't understand whether it's humans that are causing it or if it's like objects. And so I'm like trying to like, empathize with this object, trying to see if I can maybe catch a glimmer of its memories or the memories of people who've held it. And I don't necessarily, but I do realize I do accidentally activate it. And what begins to happen is it is used something that's used on me or people like me to pull away strands of the memories, like kind of like an onion. You just kind of go down to the core, and the discovery I'm making is that it's a really, really deep well before you get to anything that's actually discernibly me. And I begin to realize that maybe that's why I would have been useful to these people, is that you can just kind of continue to layer on. And so I'm looking at my companions as we're going down the road, and I already suspect the guy might not have told us the whole story, but I do think maybe also I have some connection to whoever these people are who are chasing us. So that's my immediate.
I'm just gonna reiterate from the chat that reading memories from objects is my favorite psi power ever. So I love that you twisted it that way.
I think for Violet anyway, like I just love that idea of like this car like started and we're like ripping it into gear and like getting settled and stuff, and then like Violet like hits the like accelerator. But like this ratchet like pops up, right? Like from like a manhole sewer. Sort of I guess like a super like strong robot ladies like sort of puts her hands up on like the bumper, right? Oh like yeah, to like stop the car, and like she and I like lock eyes. And then I think like I am like hit with this memory, and instead of like her hands being like gripping the front of this car, right? They're soft and like caring. It's they like tie that friendship bracelet around like my wrist, right? And then I have this like really visceral memory of like, yeah, like Miss Ratchet, like, it, yeah, sort of like doing the whole like, I'm your friend, like you're the only one that like can rely upon, like, oh, you can like, yeah, like we're forget like all the people that you like who are your friends and stuff, like this is your home, this is where you belong, kind of thing. And then like and then I kind of like sort of it's like for the very, I'm not sure what happens like in the middle between like there and now with like that final conflict, but there's probably a cut to like a very similar sort of like rebel underground basey kind of thing that Violet's like and with a couple of other like people, and she's just like holding that friendship bracelet like tightly in her hand, is like his memento of like I'm like fuck you up when I get the chance, you devil lady kind of thing. I think that's sort of what I had in mind for being on a quest.
Guy's got a name. He's got a name. We're gonna learn it right now.
Yeah, I do. So I think in a similar vein, this fellow is turning the tables, but to be, like dramatically appropriate, he's going lone wolf. He's not working for a team. So I think that we see like this, sometime in the future, there's this like billboard up, right? And it's like a very like propaganda style look of just like these different like community people, like the gardener and the UPS driver or whatever, and it's like there's some slogan to the effect of like, we walk among you to keep you safe or something like that. And I'm wondering, I'm thinking like the person that's like a milkman, right, is like the main guy on there, and his eyes have been crossed out with like these big X's, and like there's this like purple mist like coming off of the X's, right? And like we see this dude like kind of like sitting on the edge of the billboard like railing or whatever, like smoking a cigarette, and then he like does a cool ninja flip off of it. And that is the beginning of like of sort of like Zorro, how he's got his Z. Well, this is X. like EX, like I was a soldier, I'm X now, you know. So yeah, X is off for his 90s Marvel comics, too many pouches, you know, side comics. So yeah.
And if I may, I think that in the like little ad spots that run for these things, they're like, you know, previously we'd experimented with people like having human police and the military, and it has a little bit of old stock footage of someone who looks suspiciously like X and everything. But you can't really trust them, can you? Because they have too many variables. Unlike these people who will only ever look after you. They're your milkmen. They are walk among you. They're so nice.
I think it's like kind of like um juxtaposed with like, you know, these dangerous, I don't know if they have a term for the psychic mutants or whatever, but they could be any one of you. They could be among you and you don't even know. You know, they're an unseen menace. An unseen menace requires an unseen protection or something like that.
Yeah,
So
and definitely some varying quality footage of Psi blades. Just they're a thing now, and like kind of a, a clip of probably just like security footage or something of this weird emotion explosion before the camera just kind of busts everything going, can we trust them? They're too dangerous.
even scarier than the knives, feelings.
I know. You can't protect against feelings. They can get anyone at any time. Oh man, I had somewhere I was going, but I was distracted by how awesome X is. Zorro, Wolverine, Psylocke. Oh, I think in that moment is Nurse Ratchet's. Well, not Nurse Ratchet. Miss Ratchet. I'm mixing up my character names from American novels. Holding onto the bumper and everything. And we're having that flashback. Another one emerges from the side, and it looks an awful lot like X, who's not X yet. He's only Guy. Everything. But the side blades that emerges, don't quite have the right color. They look very fake and off-brand, and it's just sort of gives up and melds metally thing. And between the three of you, with Vi revving the car for all she's got, she's using her feelings and everything. I think there's not a huge surge again, but just a small enough one that like the static anger feeling is enough to disrupt this Ratchet long enough that she can't quite maintain a grip on the car, and it just plows over her, leaving this kind of middly puddle that reforms into a person. And you can see them kind of like, we're gonna get you, but they don't have a car. They're gonna have to come up with something to chase after you, but yeah, they've got time. They'll find you eventually. Except will they, because you've now figured out what they're up to. And they were using a few of his templates. So, looks like we've got about 5 minutes left on the clock. Do y'all have time for a quick debrief thing? And would you prefer that be off broadcast? Or do you have strong feelings either way?
I don't have strong feelings either way. It's up to you. I mean, on the one hand, if you're asking for feedback, it's sometimes nice to be able to refer back to that. On the other hand, sometimes I don't want to refer back to that. I'm okay either way.
Cool. Then I think I'll probably go ahead and kill it. That way I can ask for you all to be terribly mean to me and I won't cry later or something. And anyway, thanks for watching, whoever may watch this, if we post this, which we'll decide after I cut this. And the Gauntlet's awesome. You should play games with it if you haven't already. Oh no, how do I stop this?